Diana and Kevin Green are newlyweds, living in the small town of Tustin, California. Kevin is a 21-year-old corporal in the Marine Corps. 20-year-old Diana is 9 months pregnant with the couple's first baby.
Everything was just, from our naive point of view, it was perfect.
Perfect ends on the last Saturday of September. The couple spends the evening at home, watching a movie.
At 1:30 in the morning, after this movie ended, I had been thinking about wanting a cheeseburger from Jack in the Box, and it's across the street. So I decided to get up and go to the Jack in the Box and get some food.
Kevin finds the drive-thru backed up with cars and heads to another 15 minutes away. Green then returns home, only to find the door to his kitchen ajar.
I came back and that kitchen door was standing open a little bit. I hadn't locked it, I didn't have a key. And went in and I found that I thought she'd been shot.
Diana Green lies on her bed with what appears to be a gunshot wound to the forehead. Kevin calls the police, and his wife is rushed to the hospital, where the wound is determined to be not from a gunshot, but blunt force trauma.
She was conscious.
Throughout the night, Diana Green and her unborn child fight to stay alive. 8 hours after the attack, the baby's heartbeat suddenly stops. Diana undergoes an emergency cesarean section. The baby cannot be saved, and her mother falls into a coma. In the days that follow, Kevin Green sits at his wife's bedside and hopes for the best. Meanwhile, just a mile away, detectives are reviewing the husband's statement and beginning to think the worst. Steve Foster is a detective with the Tustin PD. He begins his investigation by calling around to Diana and Kevin Green's neighbors, hoping to find someone who saw something out of place on the night of the attack. Instead, what neighbors report is an argument between husband and wife.
They'd been having an argument for a while over what we're not sure. We had been out to the residence before on domestic violence kind of things where they were yelling, and so that wasn't uncommon at that residence.
The apparent marital discord intrigues Foster, who decides to take a closer look at Kevin Green's Jack-in-the-Box alibi and finds it to be less than solid.
What was curious to us is across the street, within walking distance, there is a Jack-in-the-Box, and he drove all the way to St. Anna, which was about 15 minutes away.
Inch by inch, Kevin Green is moving up the list of suspects in the attack on his wife. When questioned, Kevin tells police he saw a black man near a black van when he left his apartment, and then again when he returned home.
He just kind of glanced over his left shoulder at me and kept walking. I saw him reaching his arm out to the door, the driver's door of the van. He kind of ducked his head down as he did that.
And I recall him telling me that he saw, a black man in a black van. And my mindset at the time was, yeah, right.
Semen is recovered from Diana's body. In the days before DNA, only a blood type can be determined. O negative, a type shared by less than 15% of the population. A match to Kevin Green. And further damage to any theory of a third-party attack.
When you add it in with everything else, with the fight they had, the fact he went to one Jack-in-the-Box, the fact he had no emotion, in my mind, I'm thinking that just doesn't make sense.
Foster has his suspicions about Green, but little else with which to pressure the husband. That is, until 2 months after the attack, when Diana Green, now fully recovered from the coma, begins communicating with her parents about who it was who tried to kill her.
She had been able to communicate to them that Kevin was the one that had done this to her.
Police question Green, confronting him with his wife's statements. But the suspect sticks to his story.
He's saying she's wrong. I didn't. So we had an argument. I didn't hit her. It wasn't me.
My story sounded like the boogeyman did it. Didn't make sense that I could possibly leave my apartment for 40 minutes, and in that time being gone, somebody would go into my house, attack my wife, rape her, and leave her for dead. How could that happen in 40 minutes? Too convenient. So he decided I did.
Kevin Green is tried on charges of assault, attempted murder, and second-degree murder for the death of his unborn child. His wife takes the stand and insists it was her husband who attacked her.
She becomes more convincing. She has a lot of jury appeal when she's sitting there with, obviously, there's still some lingering effects of her injuries. So yeah, she becomes very convincing.
The jury is listening to this going, she's pointing out her attacker, and she's pointing at her husband. How can she get it wrong?
According to Kevin Green, Diana did get it wrong. Her misguided accusations, the result of head trauma.
The damage that was caused to her brain, it did not cause her to become mean to me. It caused her to not know what happened. This is common in brain damage issues to where they don't know that they are remembering something outside of what really happened.
After a week of testimony, the jury deliberates for 2 days and returns with a verdict.
And then the judge read that they were finding me guilty of second-degree murder.
Kevin Green is shipped off to San Quentin Prison, where he begins serving a sentence of 15 years to life. And the case is officially closed. That is, until 6 other assaults surface, all of them unsolved. They began 10 months before the attack on Diana Green and continue for weeks afterward. Each incident a break-in and rape, each almost identical to the one suffered by Diana Green. In January of 1996, DNA analysts at the Orange County Crime Lab are asked to examine evidence from a string of cases 17 years cold, the work of a sexual sadist dubbed the bedroom basher. The first item opened, a rape kit from 1979. The unknown sample proves to be a perfect match to system sample number 20289, blood provided by a convicted sex offender named Gerald Parker. Genetic links are then drawn between Parker and semen from 3 other basher attacks. Hong believes she might have found a serial killer and puts a call in to one of the men who submitted the kits for testing, Detective Tom Tarpley. Cold case detectives begin to work up some background on Gerald Parker. They discover he is an ex-Marine, in and out of jail on a variety of charges, including the kidnap and rape of a 13-year-old girl.
They were arguing in the house. I was standing outside the window, and then I didn't know he was coming out, and he got in his car and left.
So you pick up your cord, you go in,
Right.
and what happens? Where is she at when you first
She's in the bedroom. Okay. Well, first when I open the door, she's in bed, and she sits up, almost as if in recognition of somebody that she thought that I was, but I wasn't.
And what happened?
And she laid back down as if she recognized me. I guess she thought it was her husband or boyfriend, whichever the case he was. And then I rushed into the room and hit her over the head with the board.
Did that knock her out right away?
Right.
Okay, so she's knocked out, then what happened?
Then I raped her.
Okay.
Well, my head is spinning because I know that Kevin Green's locked up for this murder, and I know it was in 1979, and this is now 1996, and I'm thinking maybe Kevin Green's on death row. I have no idea where this guy's at, and now here's a man telling you, I did that murder.
On June 17th, 1996, Tom Tarpley arrives at Soledad and answered to Kevin Green's prayer.
I said, there's a man in another prison who has confessed to killing your child, attacking your wife, and he's confessed to killing a number of other women.
And he pointed at it and he says, this guy, we have his DNA, we have his confession, and you're getting out of prison.
After 16 years, 2 months, and 26 days, Kevin Green walks out of prison a free man.